A tour de force who lights up our planet with all those connections. His cultural impact is that of a legend. For decades, he's brought music and laughter to audiences in his role on Saturday Night Live. 3 decades on The Late Show with David Letterman.
Tribute to my 2 favorite islands, Antigua and Barbuda. Are you ready? All right, here we go. Let's hear a little. Are you ready? Oh, I got Felicia Collins here from my old band. Thank you, Felicia, for being here. Are we gonna turn it out tonight? That's all I want to know. Are you ready to play? Let's hear a little rhythm section. Yeah. Are the horns ready to blow? Come on, horns, let's hear it. Antigua's gone funky. Antigua's got soul. And we got a doggone beat now. We're gonna call our very own. Bermuda rocks, Bermuda rolls. Bermuda's got a whole lot of soul. Be alright. Miniskirt, maxi skirt, and afro hairdo. People doing their own thing, don't care about me or you. Antigua's gone funky, Bermuda's got soul. And we got a doggone beat now. We're gonna take care of business too. Now let me hear that drummer lay down his beat. Let me hear the bass band playing that same groovy beat. Oh yeah. Let me add some guitar and that conga too. You and the band, there's no way we can lose. Let me hear the horns, come on guys. Let me play a little. So happy to be here tonight and so honored to receive the South-South Award, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you all. And I got a little message that a friend of mine told me a few months back. I'm talking about the late great Dr. Solomon Burke. You all remember him, don't you? He told me some words. We took those words and used them with a little thing I had the pleasure of being a part of called the Blues Brothers. Is everyone ready? Let's suit up with our Blues Brothers shades. Are you all ready? Here's what Solomon Burke told me. He said, everybody needs somebody. Everybody needs somebody to love. Somebody to love. Somebody to kiss. Sweetheart to miss. And I need you. And I need you. And I need you. In the morning. With my sometimes I feel a little bad inside. But don't make me treat me. I never gonna put it out. I need you. Somebody to see me through. I need you. No one else. When you find that special someone, this is what I want you all to do. You got to love her, please her, tease her, never leave her, don't deceive her. And above all else, you got to sing. You got to sing. I want to hear you all sing to her.
Working towards eradicating poverty.
I need you.
Check my mic. All right, check the mic. Mic check is okay. Here we go. Yeah. Ooh, my mic was dead all this time. All right. So this is okay. Let me go back again from the top. I open up the show with Paul Shaffer of the famed Tonight Show band, and those of you who stayed up late at night watching the Tonight Show with David Letterman, who's no longer there. And so this was at the Waldorf Astoria in Manhattan with the South Awards. And Paul Shaffer was one of the recipients, an award recipient at that event. And I decided to open up with his performance. It was a kind of a unusual thing with Paul trying to do calypso. And then he broke into his Blues Brothers thing there. Little problem with the computer, but that's how it goes sometimes when you're trying to do a live broadcast. South Awards, it's an organization, like I was saying before, that came out of the United Nations. And the goal and the objective is to trying to eradicate poverty in poorer countries and trying to help nationals of various countries to the south of the equator. I mean, how they came up with that, I don't know. But this is an annual thing that they do every year. It was interesting for me, though, that while Antigua was the lead country, it seems like, in there was no Antiguans in the house. But here, Paul Shaffer and several other people, there was a guy right there that was honored that night. But he is one of those people I plan on bringing to this set one of these days. He gives out free hearing aids to children all over the world who, and not just children, but adults who are having problems hearing. And so he's one of the people I plan on featuring on this show. Tonight's program is very tight. I have a lot of information for you tonight. I want to go to Dominica. Dominica suffered a devastating hurricane recently where the entire country, I just say the entire country is washed out. And I have some slides. They need help. Pretty much that, I mean, in a straight up language, they need a lot of help. Anything that you can do, if you I know I have Dominicans who watch this program, and I find the Dominican community is kind of a relax for the kind of devastation that took place on your island. I find the Dominicans that I know living in New York, I don't know if all you're too stoosh, that you don't figure that you should get help or you don't want help or what have you, but it is really and truly to your advantage to ring your bell, to blow your horn. You know, I try to rally the crowd, so to speak, and call up folks and get them to come out and support. But if I don't hear from Dominicans and I ain't getting any Dominican responding, what sense does it make, right? So anyhow, those of you who have Dominican connections or know any Dominicans, you can call the Dominican consulate and they will hook you up and let you know all of the things that are needed. I know medical supplies is you know, top high on the priority list. So again, if you could do something to help out Dominica, thing. Tonight is a program that we go, like a split program, right? I have a politician in here, and she's also a parent coach. So tonight she's going to be wearing two hats. And but I'm not getting to her yet. Now, my son and I did a trip to Grenada recently, and I have to say thank you to the Prime Minister. I think I have the Prime Minister's thing there, the Grenadian Prime Minister, Keith Mitchell. A group of young people, well, young and old and past students of high schools, a combined secondary school reunion, very first of its kind, and they went to Grenada, and my son had a full summer. He hung out with Sharon at the African Street Festival, and Sharon is one of the guests on the show tonight. He went to Grenada. He met the governor, the Governor General of Grenada. He played jab for the first time. He played mass on the Parkway, you know, for the first time. He had a full summer. The reunion people, the combined school reunion, secondary school reunion, went off with a big, it was a big boom, if you will, and that turned out to be magnificent. I'm involved with an organization called Healing Hands Helping Broken Hearts. Healing Hands is a group. Marjorie Bibbins is the founder and director. She was recently featured in Oprah's magazine. And so we're doing every year at Thanksgiving time, we feed families. So stay tuned to Caribbean Classroom, go to the page Caribbean Classroom TV and CaribbeanClassroom.tv on Facebook, and as well as Healing Hands Helping Broken Hearts Facebook page, and get information as to what's happening and when and where and so forth. But every Thanksgiving we feed families. We do it in Far Rockaway as well as we do it in Jamaica. And we're always looking for volunteers, so we're asking you to don't be afraid to come out and help us out. Globathon. Now Globathon, Dr. Carol McIntosh is one of the founders of Globathon. And what Globathon is an organization that deals, and they've been on this program several times, they deal specifically with cancers in women, cancers below the belt. And it's an awareness-raising program, or an awareness-raising movement, they call it, where they go to various countries. They're in over 100 countries in 2 years, and reaching out to people. They recently was at the UN, and there were several people who came in there and testifying how magnificent the program is and how much help they were able to receive from that initiative of them reaching out to people and informing, enlightening, and pretty much, you know, keeping people aware of these cancers, your ovarian cancers, your cervical cancer, your all of those cancers below the belt. I always do this where every time I'm doing a show, I always forget to thank my wife, Deborah, for the support and the love and the encouragement that she extends to me. And I want to do it now in the announcement. It's Deborah, it's her sisters, it's my mother, it's my sisters, my brothers, my nieces and nephews. Right now I have a niece and a nephew in China. They're in different parts of China. One there as a Peace Corps worker and the other one there as a student. And they are trying to hook up. And it's a real fun thing. You know, every day my niece posts different pictures of her in China. She seems to be liking it. Well, of course, my daughter and her daughter and all of my in-laws, and I have to extend thank you to them as well. And Deborah, I love you. I thank you. I thank you for all that you do for me in helping this program and everything else that I do and keeping me, you know, on the straight and narrow and trying to keep me honest. Before I go to my award, I attended this event in Brooklyn last week or so. The St. Joseph's Convent Alumni Association of New York, they celebrated the 30th anniversary. If I could get a close-up on this book. They celebrated the 30th anniversary. This is in October right now. And they had it was a dinner dance, and not dinner, a fashion show and awards luncheon, they called it. And it was very interesting bunch that what they do is they raise monies here, and as past students of the St. Joseph Convent, and we have two of them in Grenada, St. Joseph Convent in St. George's, and then the St. Joseph's Convent in Grenville. And so that they will team up, the two of them, and produce these fundraising events, and people come out and support them. In the last couple of years, they tell me that they've been able to send out something like in the vicinity of $30,000 or more, $70,000 in donations and in-kind contributions that they have been able to do in the last 30 years or so. Now, Hero, I mentioned them on this program before, and I'm mentioning them again tonight. Hero is a group of medical professionals who go to Guyana every year and offer medical services for free of charge to nationals in Guyana. And what they do is they get doctors, nurses, practitioners, nutritionists, all kind of people come together, and they make the trip, and they go into the interior of Guyana and administer the health care. They have been to Jamaica, they have been to Grenada, well, Carriacou specifically, they have been to Trinidad, and they also have been to Haiti after the earthquake struck years ago. And every so often, one or two of them will journey into Haiti to offer their services free of charge. These are professionals and who call it, put aside a day or two or a week or two or a couple weeks or two, and they go into these places and offer their services. Well, they decided this year that I should be one of the honorees. And I got an award from them for being the audio-visual person for the last, I think, 10 years or more. And the crew, some of the crew came in and was helpful, very helpful in terms of getting us the footage and so forth, which will be on the air in the not too distant future. The final thing is the Hometown Award. A couple of my students and those who also helped me produce the show, they too received a Hometown Award community event music festival, where Joe Valva, who is on the floor manager tonight, his wife Donna, who's not here, and Wanda, as well as a friend of theirs who produced this concert out in Long Island, it is, right? That Walker Hornung? Okay. But anyhow, they recently won this Hometown Music Award, and I wanted to give them this plug. Whew, that's a lot. Okay, tonight's program, we're talking to Terryl Ebony DeMendonca. And Terryl is telling me now that she's jumping into and getting into the political sphere. She's a community activist. She's on the community board, Black Association, Civic Association. She's involved in the community. And I figure, well, I guess that's not enough. So you decide you want to get there in the middle of the thing and mix it up.
You have to.
And so tell us, what is this seat that you're running for?
Assemblywoman for District 29.
District 29 encompasses where?
It encompasses Rosedale, Springfield Garden, Laurelton, parts of Jamaica, parts of Hollis, a small street in Cambria Heights, and a small street in Queens Village.
But I tell you, the people that cut up them districts, something wrong with them.
Absolutely.
I don't know why you have to cut up the district so strange. You on one side of the street and you're one district, you on this side of the street is a totally different district. You can change that when you get there, right?
It's something that can be changed. It would take some work, but they have reasons why they do those things.
To eliminate certain votes and to encompass certain votes. That video that is circulating now with that Florida politician, congresswoman, I think, in the U.S. Congress. So now tell us, Terryl, what qualifies you to be an assemblywoman?
Well, as you said, I'm very, very involved in the community. I've been in the community for the past 14 years, and I think that I really understand the people's issue. So there's a difference between coming in and just doing the job, but not having your fingers on the pulse of actually what's going on in the community. And being that I have been so involved, I go to a lot of the different educational meetings. I go to the tri-community meetings, the community board meetings, all the different meetings that they have. So I kind of have a very good idea of what is going on in the different areas that we need to focus on to actually bring our community to a better place.
Who holds that seat right now? Who is in that chair right now?
Right now the seat is vacant. So this is actually a special election. The seat was vacated by former Assemblyman Bill Scarborough.
Bill Scarborough. Oh, he got into some scandal, isn't he?
Yes.
Oh, Lord have mercy. So who else is on that? Is there anybody else running? I haven't heard any other names.
Definitely. So I'm actually running as a write-in candidate. The political forces that be had me thrown off the ballot. So right now, Alicia Hyman is the Democratic nominee, and there's also a Republican in the race, Cherie Murray.
So you are a non-person. So they have to look for your name.
They have to write my name in.
So now tell people how does that work? You have to tell us how does that work.
Absolutely. So most people know that when you go to the ballots, your name is pre-written on there underneath the Democratic column.
Right.
But right underneath that, there is a line that says other. So you would just circle in the word other and write my name in. It's a legal process. It is something that people will probably discourage you from doing once you get to the polls, but it is your right to do so, and it's illegal.
So no, why were you thrown out the ballot?
Because I was five signatures away from things. So we went to the Board of Elections. They said that I actually had the 500 signatures. They took me to court. The Democratic Party took me to court, my opponent. And once we got to court, they found 5 signatures that were deemed invalid.
I never understand that. Because, I mean, in a democratic process, in a democratic environment, you want as many participants as possible, I think.
Well, that's if you really if you really believe in the democratic process. There's a difference between believing in the democratic process and believing in winning. There's a big difference. So if your goal is to win, you're going to some people will do whatever it takes to get to that goal.
And if it means castigating you and throwing you to the wolves and deem you a persona non grata
And so that's what takes place sometimes, For me, I do believe in the democratic process, and I am running on Choice Matters because I believe that they have now taken the choice from the community, because basically just having that one person in the race, you're now saying you don't have a choice but to vote for that person. And what if I don't want to vote for that person?
No, and this is the Democratic Machine of Queens doing this.
Yes.
And the Democratic Machine of Queens is headed by whom?
Well, the Queen's Democratic person is Joe Crowley, but I believe that it's really our in-house elected officials that are really spearheading this campaign.
So were you in court in front of lawyers or in front of other?
Yes.
Or just lawyers? But you didn't see any of the candidates?
No, the candidates were not there.
The lawyers
their
are
attorneys.
there. The lawyers
Yes.
are talking for the candidates?
Absolutely.
That's, I said, a coward bullshit artist, if you ask me. Shit. Please. Okay, so what can we do for you? What can we do, Caribbean Classroom and the viewers watching, what can they do to make sure that Terryl Ebony, and the name is?
Terryl Ebony DeMendonca.
Right.
And
very long name.
It is a long name. Most people know me as Terryl Ebony.
Right.
As you know, I'm an author as well, so I penned my book, and on Facebook and all the other social media sites, I'm known as Terryl Ebony.
Right.
But my last name is DeMendonca, and the election is being held on November 3rd.
Good.
And people need to literally go there and write my name in. Again, it's Terryl, last name DeMendonca.
Now, as a politician, as a politician, and I had to call you that now, you are right now running against the machine or against the system,
Absolutely.
right? Once you become elected, what does that make you?
It makes me the assembly person
I know, but
for
no, what I'm saying
Assembly
is how,
District 29.
in their view.
I'm not quite sure. I actually have a pretty good relationship with all the elected officials in Southeast Queens. So I don't really think that it's going to be that much of a difference, and I don't think that it would put that much distance between us, because at the end of the day, my goal is to serve the people, and as long as they have that same interest in heart, in mind, then everything will be fine.
Who have endorsed you? Any endorsements? Anybody supporting you?
Well, right now I have a lot of support from the actual constituents, from the residents of the community, which means more to me than anything else. Being that the Democratic machine has backed the Democratic nominee, so all of the support is going in her direction. And in
terms of the endorsements and the political endorsements?
Yes. And then a lot of the union endorsements, they have taken a stand that either they were going to back who the Democratic Party was backing, or they were going to stay out of it completely.
And so far?
And so far, some of them have either stayed out of it or they have backed her.
They backed her up.
Yes.
And is she from the area? Is she from Southeast Queens?
Yes, she is.
Because a lot of them live in Long Island and Nassau and those places, and then they'll show up and
well, you know, there is also there is something to be said about living in the community and being a part of the community. Mm-hmm. I live and am a part of the community.
Mm-hmm. That name I have not heard any before until you mentioned it just now. And the election date again is when?
November 3rd.
So people who want you to be Assemblywoman need to do what?
Need to go to your polling site, and it's very important that we get out to vote. I know that it's not a general election. It's a special election. There's no council members running. There's no mayor presidential race, but this is still a very important race. This seat has been held by the same person for the last 20 years. So this is the prime opportunity for the right person to get in and to really affect the necessary changes that we need to see up in Albany.
Ladies and gentlemen, Terryl Ebony DeMendonca. We're encouraging you, District 29 in Southeast Queens. Make sure that you go in, you have to write her name in to get her elected. And if enough of those of you living in 29 was to show up at the polls and write in the name, and no, it's not a big banner election. It's not a banner yet, as we say. But these are the kinds of elections where you end up with the kind of people like how we end up with George Bush. Sit on home, and then you end up with, you know, those kinds of inept kind of people. I don't know that this particular candidate is inept, but I'm saying I know Terryl, and right here, endorsement, right here, tonight. Okay? And I say that with no apologies to whomever might be offended by that. Vote Terryl Ebony DeMendonca, November 3rd.
Thank you so much.
And the polls are open from 6?
From 6